SABC is the official broadcaster of the 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia.
Liberty is proud to present Sport at 10.
Dimlo, Yesu, diza pambi wako. Dimlo, Yesu, diza pambi wako. Dimlo, dialila, dimlo, difuna wena. Dimlo, Yesu, diza pambi wako. Dimlo, dialila, dimlo, difuna wena. Dimlo, Yesu, diza pambi wako.
Oh, man. That is absolutely beautiful. The beautiful voices of Joyous Celebration in the background, making even me sound a little melodious right there. It's Joyous Celebration, and of course, they're going to be speaking about all they've been busy with. 22 is coming up, but we'll talk to them about a lot more than that. We'll take it back to Joyous 1, because I do remember Joyous 1, but it's going to be a little bit more than that, I can promise you now. It's going to be musical here as we look forward to this Easter weekend that's coming up. We'll usher you into it. Welcome to it. It's Sport at 10. And for those abafaki bunje, I'm saying but I will be holding it down over the next hour. I'm not alone on the show. If you can take a look at the couch there. Neil Manthorp, what a legend. One of the world's best cricket commentators will be with us today because it's a special time for cricket. We've got a tour that just keeps giving as far as stories is concerned. From the very beginning all the way till now, the Australians are here. Well, some of them, some have left. We'll get into that with Neil Manthorp. And right next to her, of course, there, Shield, as part of the campaign last year, took a young man all the way to Chelsea, came back to South Africa, life-changing moment. There's something new, though. There's something new. Makanyile nje behlala lapha naphula uzobesitshela ke ngako kwabanzi ukuthi yini lentsha ongathola nawe usufinyelele iphupho lakho lokuthi ke udlale kwiqembu eliphezulu la eSouth Africa. Next to him is a man that's played every single game of the Nedbank Cup for Mamelodi Sundowns. He's played in the PSL. He's played also in the CAF Champions League. Wayne Arendse of Mamelodi Sundowns will be talking to us about the treble they're looking at. He says they're going to win all three. He says they've got the depth, they've got the squad. But what's interesting about Wayne that you don't know is he's a cricket fan. So as Neil and I are having a bunt or two about the cricket, we'll throw it to him and hear his views on that. Joyous Celebration, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Let's get on with the road and talk about the very first story that I'm going to get into. And it's one that baffles the mind as well, of course, as just leaves the heart a little bit sore. And that's the story of Caster Semenya. Neil, you heard about this? The Caster story when she could have, should have, would have broken the record?
I think I must have missed that.
You must have missed it. Well, for all of you that missed it, let me fill you in. It's a very, very interesting story. A record that's been held by Zola Butt for the last 34 years in the 1,500 meters was said to be broken by one of the best in the game. There she is, Caster Semenya. But a faulty clock messed it up. So we'll never know whether she did it or not because a faulty clock got ahead of that in last Thursday's meet out in Paarl. So as they started, the clock on the ground looked as if it was working. Everyone was looking at it. We thought she'd beaten the record. And now we'll never know. She'll have to wait. So we can see if she's done it. Imagine that. But then a part of me says, you know, to have records that still stand, the likes of Zola Butt's record, is a great thing, you know, to have those legends. But we want those records broken. We want them tumbling. We want the youth, we want the young to take care of them. And I'm pretty sure that she'll do it again soon. Oh, man, what a story that is. But that's not the story that's making world headlines at the moment. Right now, wherever it is you are in the world, you're reading about the Aussies. And to talk to me about that, Neil Manthor, please come and join me. Let's have a word about the Aussies. I mean, I said some of them are still here because, I mean, I saw the send-off Smith got at the airport. And I thought to myself, that's not everybody. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. And I'm sure Custer will break the record soon.
A little late for you to be up at this time, isn't it, Neil?
Yeah, it's a little past my bedtime.
But let's go to the story that just keeps giving. And start at the beginning of the tour, when the Aussies did come, and South Africa were a bit of a back foot. You know, India had done their job thoroughly with us. So we were on the back foot. They were coming from the Ashes tour. That's the build-up of this entire story so far.
Yeah, we were underprepared. I mean, Faf du Plessis had been injured, Vernon Philander had been off getting married, and various, you know, we didn't know whether Dale Steyn would be fit. There were various troubles that South Africa had. I mean, they were underprepared, there's no doubt about that, and we got caught cold at Kingsmead in Durban, and the Aussies loved it and really, really rubbed it in. And then, of course, we had the incident with David Warner and
that was
Quinton
the
de Kock.
first of the incidents. It was Quinton de Kock and David Warner in that scuffle that they held there. So that was the very first one and the first test, because it seems every test has its own story. Let's talk about that one first.
Well, you know, there's a great line that actually was in an editorial in the Sydney Morning Herald, which was, if you deal in nastiness, then nastiness is nastiness, and you cannot hope to quantify what is acceptable, what is acceptably nasty and what isn't. And Warner simply blew up. There. Yeah, I mean, you know, it defies belief to wonder what might have happened had his teammates not pulled him off. That's Usman Khawaja pushing him, trying to get him into the change room, and Tim Payne, who's now the captain, of course. But Warner really wants a piece of de Kock, and there is de Kock just shuffling in, being protected by the Australian players. But you know, whatever it was that de Kock said that pushed Warner over the edge, it was obviously nasty. But then he was replying with nastiness. You know, there comes a point where if you receive enough nastiness, you do blow up. And whatever it was he said was obviously very sensitive to Warner. But, you know, it wasn't right. Neither of it was right. It's not right to slap back, is it?
Yeah.
But we all do at some
But I mean,
point.
keep the name David Warner in mind, because seemingly that's the name that therefore later comes up, just as much as his captain in Smith. Because in the second incident, it was Smith and Kagiso Rabada.
Yeah, and Rabada was guilty of being in the batsman's space. I mean, there is a rule, actually. I was going to say an unwritten rule, but it is actually in the laws of the game that the bowler doesn't get into the batsman's space when he's been dismissed. You see, at this point, Smith doesn't know if he's dismissed or not. He's given out, but he's walking down to speak to his non-striking...
Let's take a look at this alleged shoulder shrug. Look at that. Look at the contact that... Look at that. Come on, Neil. That's what you're getting a match ban for?
And 2 days later, Smith actually said, you know what, it was a bit harder than it looked on the footage. And here's the second incident where, again, he gets into the batsman's space. Doesn't swear. There's no expletives there. He's simply going, yes, 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 and celebrating what was one of the balls of the series. A brilliant, brilliant dismissal.
I mean, you got to bear in mind again, look at the two batsmen we're talking about here. It's Warner once again and Smith, which is going to lead us now perfectly into our third incident. Of course, Kagiso Rabada able to play after that rule was overturned there. The third one was the biggest one. It's a scandal that's rocked the world.
It has, and it will carry on rocking the world. We're not over it. The Cricket Australia Integrity Unit investigation hasn't actually finished. They've given some preliminary results which have resulted in the departure of Smith, Warner and Cameron Bancroft, but there are still some unanswered questions. The coach, Darren Lehmann, spoke today for the first time, and, well, here is the incriminating footage. This would have been enough to get him a match ban. There's no evidence at this stage of malpractice, of ball tampering.
It's a suspicion at this stage. It's
just a suspicion.
That something is going on.
But this is where it all goes horribly
And of course,
wrong.
it's been confirmed that that's sandpaper.
Yes, he said it was sticky tape with which he was
picking
up little bits of clay from the pitch. Now, the umpires have been told here by the match referee to have a look. This is where we thought Darren Lehmann was radioing down to the 12th man to get onto the field to remove the evidence. He says he wasn't. He says that was the first time he'd seen it, and he was actually on the walkie-talkie to the 12th man to get onto the field to find out what the hell was going on.
You know, the most frightening thing for me is in the first press conference that was given after that, the captain, Smith, obviously not thinking this was a big deal in the way that he dealt with it. He goes on to say, no, we'll not be stepping down. You know, he apologizes very sort of candidly to say, you know, we're sorry, it was wrong. You know, we did use tape, he says in that. Bancroft as well is part of that. He says, we just, you know, I'm not going to step down as captain. And I thought to myself, that's a sign of a man that does not know how serious this is.
And Dila, he also said, and I remember thinking at the time, how right you are, because he said, I apologise, I'm not proud of it, but it'll never happen again under my captaincy. And I thought, you damn right it won't, because you're not going to be captain for very much longer.
I spoke to Pat Simcox on my radio show on Radio 2000, and Pat Simcox feels that this is big enough to be the Australian equivalent of Hansigate.
It is, and it's going to change their entire culture. Lehman today, I mean, Lehman has encouraged the team to play like this, Andila. He has told them to be as hard as possible. It was his phrase that said, we headbutt the line. Remember the line? What's acceptable and what isn't? And he said today, he was contrite, he was emotional, his voice was tremoring, and he said, I know that we have to change. We have to change our culture. It's no longer acceptable. We're not popular. The perception of us is that we're bullies. And then he was asked, but are you the right man? Can you change? And he said, I am the right man, and I know that I have to change. We're talking about 25 years in the modern era of the Australian culture of pushing what Steve Waugh called mental disintegration and personal abuse.
Before I let you go, I mean, the ICC versus what, you know, the Australian Cricket Board went and did, 12 months for both, 2 years without being captain. That's the sentence that's been given so far. That's what we know so far. And they've been sent home immediately. Bancroft getting, I think it was 8 months that he got. What do you make of those sentences? I mean, Pat Simcox, once again, says should have been a life ban. Should have been equivalent to what Hansi got.
Well, I think that everybody deserves a second chance, and I was one of those that felt Hansi deserved a second chance as well. The ICC... after a long period of time, I mean, obviously, I mean, you know, match fixers, there are match fixers who've been given second chances. But, I mean, it is heinous crime. It's worse to me than ball tampering. But the ICC's regulations were minuscule. They only gave Steve Smith a one-match ban.
Wrist, really.
It's Cricket Australia. And people say, but a year ban for both of them. Surely that's a crime that doesn't fit, it's a penalty that doesn't fit the crime. It doesn't fit the crime of ball tampering. I agree. But if you take reputational damage to the game in Australia and to Cricket Australia, you talk about jeopardising hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue and a game and an industry which supports tens of thousands of people. That's why the sentence is so severe.
The Championship is about to come on, but before he does, and I say thank you to Neil, I'm going to go to Wayne over there, because Wayne is an avid cricket fan. You've been watching all of this unfold. Your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously I've been watching the cricket, and it was shocking for me at first, seeing Steve and Warner being in the mix of the whole scandal. Yeah. I agree to gentleman over there saying that everybody makes mistakes. Even you made a mistake. So they made a mistake. I think they came out to say that we've done it and they apologize. And I think we should give them a second chance. But, you know, the rules are the rules, and they have to pay for it now, and we'll see what happens.
This is why I should never have soccer player for friends. They get onto TV, they tell everybody you made a mistake. Live on the telly, mom watching and all. You know what? I need a break and I need a laugh. I'm going to bring out the Champuneza. I've heard Thomas call him the heavyweight of comedy. They say there is nobody better than him when it comes to comedy. He is comedy's Stig.
Sure, Thomas.
Sure, Scuba.
Yes, Thomas. Like, you know, you are Thomas Branil. How are you? That's fine. I was Money Shield. How are you? Joyous?
Money Shield.
Yeah, because they are here. But people at home, please don't be alarmed. Thomas is not here. And you know how kids are. So Thomas is actually sleeping. Show. He can't wait to be on the Anaconda, people. He wants to be the first guy because they say they come in for free, like baba. But they come in for Thomas. He said, if you see Thomas at the run show, don't disturb the guy. He's been looking for that for years. Joyous celebration. How are you? Well done. You know, I know a team that really needs Joyous to actually sing for them because they are on their way to the NFD Platinum Stars. They'll be there. Everyone is waiting for them. They come in like rock stars at the NFD. Dimlo, 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 NFD. Straight. Branil, please just note that my English might just disappear because, like, usually my English ends after generations. So if you feel like I'm talking otherwise, Andile will translate and then we'll take it far. Casta, please. Casta, unfortunately, man, she was trying to actually break record there, Zolabad. But Casta was not very chance. Zolabad, you know that lady's named after a taxi. When I taxi, I get Zolabad. In fact, when I do Casta, when I Cobra. I mean, like, imagine a taxi versus Cobra. I really pray, people, I have beef. Look at me, look Mr. in the eye, I have beef. Baroka, FC, wherever you are. Ogara Chiefs, they got a 72-4. I don't care, Joe. I'm mad at you guys. No, for real. They fired Kulugok Tabajane and Oscarin Masumu. Where do you think I'm going to get my jokes, guys? Eh? You fired the two people who give me material every time. Ogar Bagalija, La Suave. I mean, real. There's nothing funny about Dr. Kumar. Nothing, except the fact that if you faint Unalena, he's still going to call a doctor. There's nothing funny about Dr. Kumar. It's the original yellow bone. That guy, before Doctor, there were no yellow bone. Botende Eshele, Batsen Matangu, Steve Compella, Buntufela. We were in a dark country. It was rough. Pirates fans, can we please get this thing right? Let me balance you real quickly. Guys, the fact that you beat Chiefs doesn't mean you've won the league. Constantly busily celebrate, and they want to squeeze it into everything. I see you. He's losing his heart. Like, they want to squeeze it, and it's not really necessary. But you know what? Let them do whatever they were trying to do. But let's talk about Kaizer Chiefs for a minute. Okay, let us not talk about Kaizer Chiefs for a minute. Branil, cricket. Don't you think, as a nation or as the world, we need to just redo the rules to cricket? Just a little bit. Like, I mean, really, people think about this. Rabada bumped someone with a shoulder. And
Barely.
then...
Barely.
Yeah, just like this. Because of this, is an Australian. Australian people, Bartella, they come into South Africa, they want to cheat and everything. Do you know who we are with? We are South Africa. We gave someone 3 years for just calling the K word. We are South Africa here. Can't come here and cheat. And when I in Australia, just know that we are South Africa here. We don't play games. If we have to go, because Australia is such a small country, Joe. If we have to go to war with Australia, we'll send Lesotho. Like, we don't care. You guys are a small country. Don't mess with us. But cricket, someone bumps someone with a shoulder and all of a sudden is an offense. You can't be complaining about this. This guy's been throwing balls at you the whole day. You know how hard that ball is? It's painful, more painful than a heartbreak. When I no, let's just, cricket is very weird. They play in the sun, 39 degrees. They take a break. What do? They drink tea. If it's not, that's some serial killer attitude. Bafana won.
Yeah, the whole tournament. Am I the only one clapping? Okay.
Basically, you're the only one who knows. I also have no idea why Bafana won, but they won. They won a trophy that we don't really need. We didn't want that trophy. It's like asking your mother for Jordans and then I'll tell her bedding. I don't know, I don't want that. But let me tell you something at home. Everyone's complaining that in football, like, we need Shugel, but then people are not getting it. I want to prove to you with a video that skill works. Look at this penalty, and I'm going to leave here, and you guys just tell me if skill doesn't work. Andile, Branil, over to you. Check this video.
I saw that you've been cameraman for long, eh?
Jeez.
I'll tell you what, Wayne is going to be playing. Neil's going to be playing, Wayne is going to be playing interesting football cup games where penalties could get taken. If you get one, I dare you.
I don't think I can do that one.
We'll get some practice. Of course, we want to have a word with you as well, wherever it is that you are. We have a topic that we'd like you to be a part of. We want you to get in on it. Australians Steve Smith and David Warner have been banned for only 12 months in cricket for ball tampering scandal, the Sandpaper Gate as it's become known as. What are your thoughts at Sport at 10 TV? It's Sport at 10 TV as well on Facebook and Twitter. On YouTube, it's Sport at 10. You can also hit me up at Andile Ngube. We're going to take a very quick break. When we come back on the other side, it's a big one. It's Shield giving you an opportunity to go to Chelsea, train with the best in the world, and come back here and get a year's contract with the local team. Nomfundo will tell us about that.
Come to think of it, make it in Amsterdam.